my name's Liz, I'm the baker that sews. Welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you're a subscriber. As always, it's really lovely to have you here as I share my sewing journey. So welcome back to one of my Sunday sewing catch-ups. We're on episode 71 and I've got lots of different things that I want to share with you today. A couple of fairly involved makes and then a really simple make because I needed a break between the two really involved makes. I have got some fabric to share. I've got a couple of patterns I wanted to talk about. I've got someone that I've discovered on YouTube, and then I've got my sewing plans to share with you. So before I start with all of that, I'll let you know what I'm wearing. And I'm wearing quite an old make. This is a Tilly and the Buttons Billy jumper dress. And I got this out because it's something that I don't reach for very often. It's quite bright. I do love bright colours, but it's a very bright pink colour, and then it's got all these baby pink dots all over it. And then I used baby pink ribbing for the neckband and the cuffs, and then a darker pink ribbing for the hem. It's a sweatshirt fabric, it's fleece back sweatshirt fabric, and it's so cosy and warm, and it's actually really cold today, which is why I've got it on. And I dug it out because I haven't worn it for months, so I thought I'd get it out and pop it on and see if I still love it. I do still really love it. I don't know why I don't reach for it very often. I think maybe it's the pink colour. Pink isn't one of my favourite colours. I like it, but it's not one of my favourite colours, and I tend to reach for clothes that have got green in or are really bright and colourful and have got lots and lots of different patterns. So I've really enjoyed wearing this today, so I'm hoping it will just remind me that I've got this dress in my wardrobe so I can wear it when it's a little bit chilly. And I've just got it on with tights today. I will put pictures in of me wearing this outfit, and I'll also put pictures in of all the different things that I talk about today if I don't have images to show you. And I'll definitely put pictures in of me wearing the garments that I talk about today as well. So the Billy jumper dress is quite a loose fitted dress. It's quite straight. The detail is all in the sleeves. You've got this gorgeous sort of poofiness at the shoulder, and then it's sort of gathered into a cuff. It's a really gorgeous detail. And then it stops above my knees. My knees are here, stops above my knees, and then it's got this hemband that goes all the way around. Really, really comfortable, especially in a fleece sweatshirting fabric. So that is what I've got on today. So on to what I've been busy sewing up this week. So I've sewn up 3 things this week. I think one of them, or maybe 2 of them, I talked about last weekend, and they're both quite involved makes. I enjoyed sewing them. I was really excited about getting them sewn up, but then I really needed like a palette cleanser after I'd sewn both of them up. So my 3rd make is quite a straightforward make. So I think I'll start with the dungarees, and these are a pattern that I've been going on and on about for absolutely ages. As soon as I saw the pattern, fell in love with it. I really love the style of them. This make was a really involved make. There was a lot of top stitching, which I find quite therapeutic and quite relaxing. So with this make, I'd reached probably about 6 hours of sewing, and it was still all in pieces. And I really find it quite motivating when you start to see a garment really come together. You can start to see it looking like a dress or some trousers or a skirt or a jacket or whatever you're sewing. But with the dungarees, it took absolutely ages for you to for me to get to the stage where you actually started to piece it together and it started to actually look like some dungarees. And that's because there's loads of top stitching involved in making them. And there's lots of bits of patterns that you prepare first, and then you put them together almost right at the last minute. So I'll hold them up so you can see what they look like. I really, really enjoyed sewing them. It was a really slow make, lots and lots of top stitching, lots and lots of fiddly sort of pressing and stitching and, you know, matching up pieces and things. I've worn them already. They are really, really comfortable. So I'll hold them up so you can see, but this is what they look like. And I'll also put pictures in and a little video I think I've got of them as well. So this is the bib part, and the bib part has got a pocket at the top, and then you've got this other little pocket, which was a really lovely pocket to construct. Then you've got loads of belt loops. So you've got 2 at the front, and then you've got 3 belt loops at the back. I'm just finding them. You've got pockets on the back as well. Got this really gorgeous strap detail. It's going to be quite tricky to show you, but it's a really beautiful strap detail. You actually construct the straps separately, and then you pop them on top of each other, and then you create this gorgeous like diamond stitching here. It's going to be tricky to show you. And then you've got the bib. Now it looks like you've got a waistband on the outside, but you haven't. You actually have a waistband on the inside, and it acts as like a facing to cover up all the raw edges on the inside. And then you got pocket bags, and I went for like a floral fabric. I might be able to show you, yeah, there, floral fabric there. And then on the hip, there's more pockets, loads of pockets in these dungarees, pockets. And then on this side, you've got a coin pocket as well, which was a really cute feature. You've got 2 buttons on each side. Oh, that one's not been fastened, but yeah, you've got 2 buttons on each side. It was quite nerve-wracking putting buttonholes into the denim. And then they're quite a relaxed fit in terms of the leg. If I get the pattern, so here are the line drawings for the pattern. It's the Riley overalls, and it's a pattern by True Bias. You can sew up the shorts version, and you can sew up the full length overalls, and I've gone for the full length overalls. And you can see you've got the beautiful strap detail, you've got this bib pocket, and then it's got a smaller pocket. Then you've got the hip pockets, one of them's got the coin pocket, and then you've got the buttons down both sides. It's a faux fly, you don't actually have a fly on the dungarees. And then the shorts have got the same features, the difference being that the overalls have got full leg, and the shorts obviously stop above the knee as shorts. Really enjoyed sewing them up. It describes the Riley pattern as a classic overalls design with a relaxed fit and 2 lengths. View A is a shorts length with an approximate 6-inch inseam, and view B is full length with a straight fit through the leg and an approximate 28-inch inseam. All views have a front bib with patch pockets, rear patch pockets, belt loops and a faux fly. In terms of fabric recommendations for the Riley overalls, they recommend medium to heavy bottom weight fabrics with little to no stretch, like a denim, corduroy, twill and linen. And then the pocket lining fabric, they recommend a lightweight woven fabric like quilting cotton, which is what I've used, or cotton lawn, cotton voile, linen. And then you do need some interfacing, you need overall clasps. You also need some jeans buttons as well, and top stitching thread. There's a lot of top stitching. I don't know if you can see from the line drawings here, but there's a lot of top stitching. I sewed up a size 4 based on my measurements. So my bust measurements are 34 inch, which is what their measurement is for a size 4. My waist is 28 and hip is 36. So actually I was bang on a 4, and they fit me really nicely. I didn't have to make any alterations or adjustments to it at all. Really enjoyed sewing them up. Like I said, there was lots and lots of steps. Like I won't show you all the instructions, but lots of steps where it's just lots and lots of prep, lots and lots of constructing, but not actually putting any pattern pieces together for a while. I found the instructions really straightforward. I found them quite enjoyable to follow. At various points throughout the day of me sewing these up, I would just read the instructions out loud to myself, and my husband would walk in and say, who are you talking to? When I'm sewing something new or something for the first time, or something that's got lots and lots of steps, I do find reading the instructions out to myself really helps me to understand what's happening. But lots and lots of pictures. I believe there's a sew along for the Riley overalls as well. I didn't use the sew along. There was one part that I got a little bit stuck on, which I just didn't understand. So that's more of just putting pockets on, putting the darts in the back trouser pattern pieces, and then you construct more pockets, so more sort of top stitching, more sort of fiddly sewing. Continue to do more fiddly sewing, still not really putting anything together, and then even more fiddly sewing, still not putting anything together. And then I'm just trying to find the bit that I found a little bit confusing. So it was this bit. So you've got a back hip placket, and I'll show you on my dungarees in a second. So I could follow this instruction to construct the back hip placket, but it was this bit down here where it says line 1 back hip placket up with the top edge of the back straps and the finished edge extending just past the side seam allowances on the left side of the garment. I couldn't figure out whether it was right sides to wrong sides or right sides to right side. I couldn't figure it out at all. So I left it alone, went and had some dinner, came back, still couldn't really get my head around that step. So instead, I looked at how the overalls look when they're finished. I went on Instagram and had a look at how the overalls look on other people. And then I just used my knowledge of sewing and my knowledge of what I think the placket and the purpose of the placket would be for. And then I figured it out. So I I don't know if I followed like their instructions for that part because I couldn't understand it, but I did manage to figure it out, and I have got a back hip placket that does what it needs to do. So the back hip placket is this section here where you've got the buttons, and the purpose of it is for the buttons to go on there, so that you can fasten the overalls at the hip. So I had to put 2 of those on, and I just couldn't figure it out at all. When I looked at the instructions, the next step was doing some top stitching here. So I figured out that on the inside, I had to make sure that the hip placket lined up with the seam that I already had there. And then I would flip that and then top stitch, so that raw edge would be on the inside. So I did figure it out in the end. That was the only bit that I found really confusing, and I just couldn't figure it out. But actually in the end I just didn't follow their instructions, and I could have gone and looked at the sew along that I think that they've got. If I can find that, I'll link that down below. But actually I figured it out, and it looks really lovely. It, you know, it serves its purpose, and all the raw seams are hidden on the inside, which is exactly what the point of the placket is as well. So I'm really, really pleased with these. I just went for a classic denim fabric, and I think that these are just going to go so nicely with so many tops and jumpers and blouses and things that I've got in my wardrobe. And like I said, I've already tried them on. I had them on for a couple of hours just to check the fit and see how I felt in them, and they feel really lovely to wear. So I'm really pleased. Really, really intense sewing, but actually I've got a really lovely pair of overalls that I know I'm going to get lots and lots of wear out of them. And I'm really pleased that I just went for this classic blue denim as well, because I really think that they're going to add to my wardrobe. So a very, very long, intense make, but really, really pleased with those. And then on to another really intense make, but it was a make that I knew I'd already sewn up once before, so I wasn't too overwhelmed diving in with this. But this is a project that I've had in the pipeline for a couple of years now. As soon as I bought this fabric from New Craft House, I knew exactly what I wanted it to turn into. I knew that I wanted it to be the heather blazer. This is a gorgeous wool fabric from New Craft House, and I bought it a couple of years ago. It was quite expensive. Then it sat in my stash for ages because I had the fear of cutting into this beautiful fabric. But I knew that it would work really nicely as the heather blazer. Then I put this fabric on my Make 9 plans for 2022. Put it off and put it off and put it off. Didn't get it sewn up in 2022. Didn't add it to my 23 plans because I just wanted this to be a project that was just going to hang over from last year. Got it cut out eventually. Still didn't sew it up. I don't know why. I think I was just really scared that it was going to go wrong. And then I sewed up Ruby's lovely fleece blazer. And I think once I'd done that and sewn up the pattern, and I'd heard that the Friday Pattern Company Heather blazer was a really straightforward pattern to follow. So with my success of sewing up Ruby's, I was like, yes, now is the time to get this blazer cut out, sewn up and turned into the garment that I've had in my head for the last couple of years. And here it is. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. I'll put it on. It's not going to go with what I'm wearing because this dress is quite busy. And then with the lining, I chose this really lovely, I think it was a viscose, or it's either a viscose or a rayon. And I got it from Like So Amazing ages ago because it's got tigers all over it. And I was going to turn this into the Alexa jumpsuit by Tilly and the Buttons, but I'm glad I held on to it because I think it's just a really fun lining fabric. And I do think it goes really nicely with that wool. I really love that you've got like the secret tigers on the inside of the blazer. And then I also went for a label that just says, thanks, I made it. And I think that was a Kylie in the Machine label that came in there. Kylie in the Machine advent calendar, not last year, but the year before. I'll pop this on. I have got photos of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, it's turned out exactly how I wanted it to. This wool works so nicely for the blazer. So you've got the collar detail. It's obviously a really busy print as well. You've got the lapels, got that gorgeous lining. And then you have got pockets. So there's pockets on each side. And then I've got one buttonhole because it just says one buttonhole. And then the button I went for, I think is perfect. It's this Pigeon Wishes button. And I think it goes so nicely with this fabric. I think it's the perfect button. So yeah, that's what it looks like when it's fastened. It's a really lovely, quite relaxed fit blazer, and I'm just really pleased that I have got this gorgeous wool now turned into a really wearable blazer that I know I'm going to wear loads to work. Not when I'm teaching. I think I'll wear it on my leadership days, because otherwise it'll end up covered in paint, and I think I'll be really sad if this ends up covered in paint. And at the weekends as well, when I'm out and about with my family, because it's really lovely and warm as well. I think it's going to be a really lovely addition to my spring wardrobe when it's still a little bit chilly outside but not freezing cold, so I just need a jacket as a layering piece. That fabric is just absolutely gorgeous. I love all of the colours in that beautiful fabric, and it was a really lovely fabric to work with actually. It did press really nicely, because I was a bit worried about the wool being a little bit bouncy, but it wasn't bouncy at all. So this is the pattern. It's the Heather Blazer by Friday Pattern Company. You can see on the front it's quite a relaxed fit. I think that's been sewn up in linen, and I think that would work really nicely for this pattern, and that would really make a lovely like spring summer kind of jacket as well. I have got some linen in my stash, so that might be an idea for maybe some summer sewing. These are the line drawings, and it describes the Heather as an unstructured modern blazer. This comfortable and stylish jacket has a slightly oversized fit and can be worn in all seasons. It's the perfect editorial layering piece. The pattern's designed to be approachable for a beginner sewist. If you've always wanted to dip your toe into making outerwear but have felt intimidated, this is a great place to start. And I would definitely say actually that although it's quite an intense make because you're sewing up a blazer, the instructions from Friday Pattern Company are absolutely brilliant, and they really hold your hand. So if you've sewn a couple of garments and you want to sew yourself a jacket, I would definitely recommend the Friday Pattern Company Heather Blazer. So the pattern features, there's a two-piece sleeve, it's fully lined, there's a single button closure, front patch pockets and a lapel collar. So there are lots of little techniques that if you are a beginner sewer, this pattern would really help you sort of understand those techniques and to teach you some new techniques as well. In terms of fabric recommendations, they recommend any woven fabric with a bit of weight to it, like linen, suiting, twill, denim, canvas. Avoid fabrics that can't take a press, since there's a fair amount of fusible interfacing involved in this project. And then for lining fabric, it says typically you want to line your jackets with something that will slide easily on and off. Anything a little bit slippery would work, like a rayon, a silk and a cotton with a tight weave. And then in terms of sizes, I'm just going to find out what size I sewed up. So the pattern comes in sizes extra small up to 7X, and I sewed up a small. So the bust measurement 34 to 35 inches, waist 26 to 27 inches and hip 35 to 36 inches. And it's perfect on me. Just the right amount of ease whilst feeling really comfortable. Doesn't look oversized, or it's meant to look oversized, but what I mean is it doesn't look like it drowns me. I feel like it fits me really nicely and it's really comfortable. So I would definitely recommend the Friday Pattern Company Heather Blazer. I've definitely got plans to sew up some more. That was a really enjoyable project, and I'm just so pleased that this wool has finally been turned into that project that sat in my head for a couple of years. Yeah, and I just love that wool. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love all the different colours in there, and that really lovely like ice blue that pops with all the browns and the sort of cream colours in there too. Really fun project. Really enjoyed sewing that one up. So after those two quite involved makes, I then wanted to sew up something that was a little bit less involved and that would be sort of a palette cleanser, because I felt like the blazer and definitely the dungarees, I had to really concentrate when I was sewing those up. So I wanted something that would be quite an easy project to sew up, and a project that wouldn't take too long to sew up either. And I sewed this up with the Riley overalls in mind, because I thought this fabric would go really nicely with that denim. It's a fabric I shared a few weeks ago that I got from my local fabric shop. This gorgeous cotton jersey gingham fabric. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a lilac gingham fabric. And the pattern that I've gone for is actually the pattern that I'm wearing, but I've gone for the jumper. And it's the Billy, the Tilly and the Buttons Billy jumper dress. And you can also sew up a jumper, and that's what I've gone for. This pattern comes in sizes UK 6 and goes up to a UK 34. In terms of fabric suggestions for the Billy, they recommend sweatshirt, fleece fabric, French terry, ponte, double knit, interlock or sweater knit. And I would say also a cotton jersey, because I've sewn this up in a cotton jersey, and I've got a few Billy jumpers that I've sewn up in a cotton jersey. You just need to make sure that you've got enough stretch for that neckband and also for the cuffs and the hemband, because on the jumper and the jumper dress you have a neckband, you have cuffs, and you also have a hemband. There's an option to sew up just a regular sleeve, or you can sew up this gorgeous like balloon sleeve, which is what I've done with this dress, and I've also done with this jumper too. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but these are the line drawings. So I am wearing this dress here, and then I sewed up this jumper here with the balloon sleeves. I absolutely love that feature of the pattern. Really, really enjoyable sew. So here it is. I did put a label in. I put a label in that says powered by tea, and that was a Pink Coat Club label when the lovely Joy was selling labels. She doesn't sell them anymore, but I'm definitely powered by tea. I drank a lot of tea when I was sewing up the overalls. And then here are the gorgeous sleeves. So it's got this sort of gathering into the shoulder, and you get this gorgeous voluminous shape like you can see here. And then it's also gathered into the cuff. What I decided to do with this, because I've got loads of this fabric, I bought 3 meters, is I extended the cuff. So I don't know if you can see, but on this one, when I stretch my arms, the cuff goes up. And I do naturally at work like push my sleeves up just so that I don't get like paint or glue or anything on my cuffs. So I wanted a slightly longer cuff that would allow me to be able to do that, but also keep my hands warm in the winter or even the spring when it's freezing cold outside and I have to go out in the garden with the children, because I always get really cold hands. It's the one part of my body that's always cold. So I do like to have a long cuff so I can hide my hands inside the cuff. So I did extend that. And then I've got the hemband on the bottom as well. This goes so nicely with the Riley dungarees, so I'm really pleased with this. And I think this is going to go with lots of things that I've got in my wardrobe as well. I did put this on with the Riley dungarees and the blazer. I think it was a step too many prints in terms of the gingham with the stripe. Well, it's kind of a grid fabric, isn't it, with the wool, but I felt like it was just a little bit too much. I will put a picture in of me wearing all 3, but yeah, I think if I'm going to wear this, I think I need to have a plain top, or I need to just embrace the pattern clashing. But this was a really enjoyable sew because I know that pattern really well. I've sewn up so many Billy jumpers and jumper dresses, so it was a really breezy pattern for me to sew up after those 2 quite intense makes. So those are all of the things that I've been sewing up this week. I'm really pleased with the Riley dungarees in particular, because as soon as I saw that pattern, I bought it, I traced it off, I cut it out with the denim, and then it's stacked in one of my Ziploc bags for months and months. And I just kept on saying I was going to do it, I was going to do it, I was going to do it, and then I just didn't. And I think the reason I didn't sew it up for ages was I knew that it was going to be quite an intense make. And I've always got loads of ideas and loads of plans on the go, so I'm really pleased that I finally dug that one out of my work in progress box and sewed it up. I have got another work in progress project on the go at the moment, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But those are all of the things that I've sewn up this week, and I've enjoyed sewing all of them, despite the 2 projects that I talked about first being quite intense makes. So the next thing I wanted to share with you, I've got 2 pieces of fabric that I wanted to share with you. And the first one's from Eliza Mac Fabrics. This is not for me, it's for Ruby and Lola. It's this really, really fun, I'm just going to see what they described it as. They described it as a small scale ice cream stripe jersey fabric. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the colours. They're like pastel-y. They're absolutely beautiful, and I think they go so nicely together. Both Ruby and Lola would like me to turn this into a jumper for both of them, so I'm probably going to use the Nina Lee South Bank sweater pattern for both of them, and I've got enough of this fabric to turn it into a South Bank for both of them. It's quite a lightweight jersey, but yeah, I think they're going to really enjoy wearing it. It's such a fun fabric. I think it was on sale. I think it was like I want to say it was £4 a metre, or maybe it was £4 per half a metre, because £4 a metre sounds quite cheap. But yeah, I got myself a couple of meters of this, so I'm looking forward to getting that turned into something. Well, I know exactly what I'm going to turn it into, but I'm looking forward to getting that turned into 2 jumpers for Ruby and Lola. They might change their mind and ask for a t-shirt. If they do ask for a t-shirt, then I'll probably use the Tilly and the Buttons Tabitha t-shirt, because that's like my go-to t-shirt pattern for them. But yeah, that was the first fabric. And then the second fabric, I wasn't going to buy. I had no plans to buy some corduroy fabric because I've got quite a lot of it in my stash. But if you followed me for a while, you'll know that I've been on the hunt for probably about 1.5 years now for the perfect lilac corduroy fabric to make myself some dungarees. I wanted to make myself some lilac dungarees I think it's probably been about 1.5 years that I've been looking for this fabric. I think it was last year that I wanted to sew up some lilac dungarees, and I couldn't find the right fabric anywhere despite looking. Then Fabric Godmother shared in their stories that they had some jumbo, what was it called? 6 whale stretch jumbo cord in a lilac colourway, and as soon as I saw it I fell in love. It's a fabric I've been looking for quite a long time, so I did buy 2 meters of this fabric. It's absolutely gorgeous. So it's just a lilac colourway, 6 whale jumbo cord, and it's definitely going to become some Yanta overalls. My favourite dungaree pattern. I think this will go really nicely with that pattern, and again, it's an idea that I've had in my head for absolutely ages, so I can't wait to get this cut out and turned into those. I've only just got it out of the envelope actually that it came in, but yeah, it is a stretch. You can see that it's got stretch to it, but I think it should work nicely for the Yanta overalls. I can't remember if I've sewn the Yantas in a stretch fabric before, but I think that it would still work. It has got quite a lot of stretch actually. I might have to size down. I'll see how I get on with it. But I'm just really excited that I found some lilac corduroy fabric, because I've wanted lilac corduroy fabric for absolutely ages, and I've got a firm plan for that gorgeous lilac fabric as well. So those are all the fabrics that I've got to share with you today. Now I've got 2 patterns. I haven't bought either of the patterns yet, but I've got 2 patterns that I wanted to talk to you about. I haven't got the patterns in front of me because I haven't bought them, so I am going to look down to talk about the patterns. And the first one is a very different pattern. It's a designer that I hadn't heard of before, and it was the lovely Atia from the Bright Blooms who shared this in her stories, and as soon as I saw the dress I just had to go and find out where it was from. So the dress is called the Bow Patchwork Alicia dress, by Robertswood Design Studio. It comes in sizes 6 to 28, but you buy a size, so they've grouped the sizes into sort of pairs. So it starts as the first size that you could buy is a 6 to 8, then it's 10 to 12, then 14 to 16, and so on until you get up to a 28. In terms of fabric, they recommend a lightweight fabric like a cotton, or a voile fabric. It looks absolutely beautiful, or I'm trying to think what the other type of fabric, like a chiffon would work really nicely. They describe the pattern as a hyper-romantic design featuring clever pattern cutting that creates volume in the skirt and sleeves without actually using gathers. It features this really beautiful bow patchwork design that comes together as the patchwork rows are assembled, and it sounds quite straightforward, but the overall effect of this beautiful dress is just absolutely stunning. So I am sitting on the fence at the moment, but I think I am quite tempted to buy the pattern. And the reason I'm sitting on the fence at the moment is because it's £34 for the pattern, but it is absolutely stunning. And then they've just released a midi extension pack, which is free if you've bought the pattern already. It's absolutely beautiful, like breathtakingly beautiful. I just think it's such a stunning design, so I'm definitely tempted. And then the next pattern was recommended by Linda as I was hunting for a biker style jacket. When I shared my pleather fabric that I got from New Craft House a few weeks ago, I asked for recommendations for a jacket pattern. It was a similar sort of biker style jacket with an asymmetric front, and I was really looking for a pattern so I could recreate it in the pleather fabric that I got, because I got like a bottle green pleather fabric. So I'm really keen to sort of push my sewing skills and see if I can have a go at sewing up a jacket using the pleather fabric. And then Linda recommended the Made to Sew Paxton jacket, which is a new release. It's beautiful and it's exactly what I'm looking for. It does look like quite an intense make. It's sort of a tailored jacket. It's double-breasted, a fitted jacket, asymmetrical zip. It's got front fastening, a notched collar, zip fastened cuffs on the sleeve, which is a really beautiful detail. It's fully lined and there's welt pockets as well. There's 2 size ranges, so a UK 2 to 18, which is a B cup, or a UK 16 to 32, which is the D cup. The smallest hip measurement is 32 inches and the largest hip measurement is 62 inches. In terms of fabric recommendations, they recommend faux leather, boucle wool, tweed, and then for the lining they recommend a non-stretch fabric like a cupro or a viscose. There are 55 pattern pieces for this pattern, so it sounds like quite an intense make, but it's exactly what I've been looking for. So thank you, Linda, for suggesting that pattern. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm definitely going to buy it. It's exactly what I've been looking for, and I'm really looking forward to. Also slightly apprehensive because it does look like quite an intense make. But I am looking forward to trying that. I think I will dig out, like I've got some wool fabric I got from Rainbow Fabrics, which wasn't very expensive. So I think I will test it out with the wool fabric first, and then I'll use the pleather. I worry about trying something quite intense with lots of pattern pieces and lots of technical tailoring. I worry about using the fabric that I want to have the finished garment in first. I want to test out those techniques first and just see what the fiddly aspects of that pattern are. But yeah, thank you for letting me know about that, because I hadn't seen, well, I haven't actually heard of Made to Sew as a pattern company, and I hadn't seen the Paxton jacket release either, so thank you for that. So the next thing I wanted to share with you is a YouTube channel that I've just discovered, and the reason I've just discovered it is because somebody messaged me on Instagram letting me know about a design that they talked about, or an idea that they talked about in their 2023 sewing plans video. So the YouTube channel is Sew and Inspire, and it was Sarah on Instagram who got in touch to let me know about this, so thank you, Sarah. The person who runs their YouTube, they're called Ellen. And it's a mixture of sewing and knit sort of vlogs. So she talks a little bit about knitting, but she also talks about sewing as well. And the reason Sarah got in touch with me was she'd watched the video, the sewing plans for 2023, and about halfway into that video, Ellen talks about an idea that she's seen for, it's a fleece jacket, but it's got a mixture of like patchwork as well, and then also some really cute ruffles. If I can find a picture, I'll put a picture in now. And it made Sarah think of the scrap busting that I've been doing recently. So the waistcoat that I made, the everyday waistcoat, and this sounds and looks like a really fun idea. So then I went on Pinterest and I had a little look for like fleece and patchwork and ruffly designs, and I came across a few designs that have left me feeling quite inspired. So I'll put some pictures in now, but I really enjoyed watching Ellen's videos, so I thought I'd let you know about her if you haven't checked her out yet. So her channel is called Sew and Inspire, and she's also over on Instagram as well. So thank you, Sarah, for letting me know about that video. And then I always like to finish these videos with some sewing plans. So I've got plans based on the challenges that I've talked about. So I have got a project cut out thinking about the Sew Yellow for Endo challenge that's running throughout the month of March. I'm just thinking, where did I put? I've left them in my sewing space. I'll just go and grab them. So I've got this gorgeous denim fabric that's been cut out for absolutely ages. And I'm going to be turning the gorgeous denim fabric into the I Am Sunshine jeans. And I'm going to be sewing up the slouchy version. So it's almost like a balloon shaped leg. So I'm looking forward to getting those started. My zip has arrived. And that fabric is just really, really fun. And it's got that little bit of yellow in, as well as all the other bright colours and the flowers as well. And I think they're going to make a really gorgeous pair of jeans for the springtime. And then the other challenge that's happening at the moment throughout the month of March is Sew Frugal. So Sew Frugal 23. And the idea behind that challenge is that we dig out some fabric from our stash and we use a free pattern to sew up some of our fabric that we've got in our stash. So I've got two fabrics here that every time I open my drawers behind me and I look for fabric, I see these fabrics and I think I've had them for ages and I just want to turn them into something. So the first one is like a textured viscose. I feel like it might be a viscose crepe. It's got a little bit of texture to it, but it's got all these poppies all over it. It's super drapey, and I've had this for ages. I think I've got 1.5 meters of that fabric, and then the other fabric I think is just a viscose, but it's a pink and a red. I absolutely love pink and red together. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the pattern that I'm thinking of turning both of these into is the free pattern by the Little Pomegranate, which is the Sabina skirt. It's a really lovely free pattern. It's got an elasticated waistband. It's got pockets. It's a slightly gathered skirt, and then it's got this gorgeous ruffle on the bottom. And I think these two fabrics, because they've got a lot of drape and movement, I think they would work really nicely as a skirt. So I'm looking forward to turning both of those into the Sabina skirt. And then the final project, I was hoping that I would make a start on that this week, but actually I haven't got the right thread. So I've ordered the right thread, but it's using this gorgeous coating fabric, which is a fleece backed coating fabric. So it's fleece on one side. It's a really gorgeous mint colour. I'm going to wait for the thread to arrive, but I'm going to be turning that into the Sew Over It Dorothy jacket. And I was hoping to have started that this week, but I just didn't have the right colour thread. So hopefully I'll be able to update you on how I get on with the Dorothy jacket next weekend when I do my Sunday sewing catch-up video. So those are all of my plans. Hopefully I'll get the skirts sewn up. And I'm really hoping that I can get the jeans sewn up as well. And then maybe make a start on the coat. We'll see. Lots of plans as usual. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing what I've been getting up to and seeing the fabrics and hearing my sewing plans. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really love it if you could hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified of when I bring out my next video. Thank you as always for watching. Take care, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.